Hello, welcome to today's lesson. I wanted to talk about using scales across the whole guitar. Most of the time we learn one or two patterns and we kind of just stick with those, and you start to kind of you don't explore as much, when you're just stuck in one pattern. But yeah, let's talk about it. So I'm going to move this down just a little bit. Okay, cool. So where I'm going to start with this one is we're going to go to the A minor pentatonic, box 1, starting here at the 5th fret. We're going to be at the 5th fret of the E string with our first finger. Our pinky finger is going to go to the 8th fret on the same string. And one thing I really want to do when I'm practicing this is I want to start with a down pick here. So if I'm over here on the right side, down pick. And then when you go to the 8th fret, or the right side of the box, you're going to go up pick. So down, up. Each string has 2 notes on it, so you're going to use that same pattern throughout the whole thing. Then you go to the A string, you're going to play first finger on 5 on the A, third finger on 7 on D, same thing on the D string, 5 to 7, same thing on the G, 5, 7, and then on the B, 5 to 8, and then on the high E, 5 to 8. And then when you walk it back to the top, you're going to go backwards. So you're going to start with the 8th fret now, and then you're going to lift up your pinky and you're going to hear the 5th fret, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5. One more time, really slow. Cool. So you might already know that box, but might as well play it again because it's a really good one. Most people, they learn that shape and then that's where they stop. But let's go a little more in depth. Let's figure out what each note is. On each one of those frets that we played, in each one of those boxes, there's one letter. So the first one here is our root note. He is the A note. And then we go over to the 8th fret. There's the C note. And then you're on the 5th fret of the A. Here's the D note. 7th fret we have is the E note. Then we have G here on the 5th fret of the D. And then finally here, we're back home at A. A, C, D, E, G, A. So when you get here and you go back, or you go to the next one, the 5th fret of the G, everything starts over again. So you're going to go back to C, and then D, E, G, A, C. I was looking at this little screen and I totally missed this note. But when you're practicing it, go really slow. I would honestly, like, if you were just like, if that was the first time you've seen that, so I would pause the video, just get that under your fingers, and then watch the rest of it. Because what we're going to do now is, this will help so much, is we're going to take that box and all the notes inside of it, but we're going to play each one of them on one string. I found that no matter if you're a beginner or you're intermediate or if you're advanced, every person can play a scale on one string. That's the first thing I usually teach because it'll kind of, you'll be making music, and it'll be fun. But let's start here at the low E. One thing I want to talk about before we get to this exercise is we're going to need to know 2 kind of measurements. So on the guitar, say I go from the 3rd fret to the 4th fret. That would be called 1 half step. But if I go from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret, which most of these dots are a whole step, where there's 2 half steps combined make a whole step. So 3 to 4, half step, 3 to 5, whole step. So say I go from 3 to 6, that would be a whole step plus a half step, which would be 3 frets. But let's go to our pentatonic scale. So we're going to play the open E, and then we're going to go to, hold on, let me make sure I'm in tune. It's always good to play in tune. Unless you want to play like prog rock, then sometimes you can be out of tune. Okay, cool. So we have the low E, and then we're gonna go a whole step and a half to the 3rd fret, which is our G note. And then we're gonna go over a whole step to the A note. And then we're gonna go over a whole step and a half step to the 8th fret, which is our C note. And then a whole step to the D note, which is the 10th fret. And then a whole step to E. So I just played all 5 of those notes, but instead of starting at A, I just started at E, which is totally cool. So we have the fret numbers now. We would have the open string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 8th fret, 10th fret, 12th fret. So every string is the same letters, but it's just starting on a different note. So if I go down to the A string now, and how I figure out where I have to go is I always imagine like the E, this would be like the imaginary fret for the E. So when I went from E to G, E, F, F sharp, G. So if I go to the next string, here's A, B flat, B, or you can call it A sharp. But we want to go to C, so we're going to go A, and then we're going to go to the 3rd fret, which is C, whole step over, 5th fret, which is D, 7th fret, which is A, 7th fret, which is E. Then we're going to go over the whole step and a half to G, and then at the 12th fret here, we're back home. Is the A note. So we have the open A, 3rd fret, which is C, 5th fret, which is D, 7th fret E, 10th fret G, 12th fret A. I would kind of go in twos. Since there's 6 strings, you can think about it as 3 sets of 2. But just start on the low E, just walk all the way up until you get to 12. And when you get to 12, go down to the next string, and then walk it to your left. Cool, but let's go through the other strings. So we have the open D on the next one, 2nd fret, which is E, 5th fret, which is G, 7th fret, which is D, 7th fret, which is A. I keep messing that one up. And then we have 10th fret, which is C, 12th fret, which is D. There we go. Then let's go to the 12th fret here. So we're on the 12th fret of the G, which is the G note. Then we go 3 over to our left to number 9, which is E, 7, which is D, 5, which is C, 2A, and then you have open G. On the B string, I'm going to start at the 1st fret. The B and the F note aren't in the pentatonic scale because penta meaning 5 is we only have 5 notes instead of 7, but we're going to get to that soon. It's good to just get down one scale because then you can build everything you've learned on top of it, you know? So here's our 1st note, which is C. Then we have the 3rd fret, which is D. 5th fret, which is E. 8th fret G. 10th fret A, and this time I'm going to go to 13. everything at the 12th fret is just like the open string, so 13 would just be like 1. And that's the reason I'm stopping at 12, is you want to walk these all the way up, but it just repeats itself. So if I had up here C, D, E, same thing, but now instead of 1, 3, and 5, you have 13, 15, 17. Whenever you get to the high E, it's the same as the low E. So you really only have to remember 5 strings, but it's good to go through that one. Too. So we have the open E, 3rd fret, which is G, 5th fret, which is A, 8th fret, which is C, 10th fret, D, and then the 12th fret, high E. So I know it seems like we just went through a lot of stuff, but if you work on this and you go really slow, soon you'll be able to look at each one of these frets and you'll be able to see a letter, which is really cool because guitar players have this curse of saying everything in frets, like, oh, I'm here at the 3rd fret, or I'm going to the 5th fret. That's cool when you're talking to another guitar player, but imagine if I was talking to a keyboard player. They're gonna kind of appreciate it if I'm like, yeah, here, I'm at the A note, you know, we're making music. Try to make this like a daily routine, is just start at the low E and try to go all the way to the high E. And I hope that you would see the pattern is every time we're at the E note, since we're skipping over F, it's 3 notes to G, or 3 half steps to G. And then same thing when we go from A to C, it's always going to be a whole step and a half because we're skipping over G. So if we can just remember where those are, everybody else is a whole step. Yeah, I'm going to go through the whole thing really slow. Here we go. So you got the open E, 3rd fret of E, 5th fret of E, 8th fret, 10th fret, 12th fret. Then you go down to 12 on the A, 12, 10, 7, 5, 3, 0. Then you're on the D string, 2, 5, 7, 10, 12. Going down to 12 on G, 12, 9, 7, 5, 2, 0. Then on the next string, 1, 3, 5, 8, 10, 13. On the high E, 12, 10, 8, 5, 3, 0. One way to practice this without it just being like super boring is to record yourself playing guitar. Like since we're in the key of A minor, if you take this chord, you have your first finger on the B string on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the D string 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the G 2nd fret, and even if you just go to like your voice memos, or if you go to like record a video or anything, and just record yourself doing like 4 strums. And just doing that over and over again, and then playing the scale over the top, you'll have a better time. And there's like millions of backing tracks on YouTube that you can use to play over and jam over. But yeah, another way we can look at it is if now that we went through every string, since if you already know the pentatonic box and you already used that on the reg, you know, figure out how far to the left and how far to the right you can move. So like say I'm here at the very top, 5 and 8. Well, I know if I move to my left, I can go to number 3, and then I can go to 0. And if I move to my right, I know I can go to 10, and then I can go to 12. And if you do that on every string, you'll never get lost. thank you for watching this video. I hope it helped. Leave a comment, hit the subscribe, you know, all that cool stuff. I'm out here just trying to help people out with the music, you know. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.